Hello, this is David Craig, and I want to welcome you to my foundation series that aims to provide some background about this work. You may be watching this because you're a new client and I've asked you to, or you may have found this on YouTube or on my website, boundlesslife.org. Again, welcome. The goal of this work is to support those who desire to live life boundlessly. And this is done in two ways. I assist my clients to engage life from their true source of power. And number two, to overcome any fears, anxieties, and doubts that get in their way of fulfillment. In looking at the times we find ourselves in, these crazy times, it's about finding rest and confidence within the uncertainty that's unfolding, so that we can move forward with conviction and certainty to make the most out of our lives. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my background. I live in the Twin Cities. I've been here in Minneapolis for about a little over 2 years. Live with my girlfriend, Alex. I'm originally from Maryland and spent most of my life there. And still miss it at times. I have a 21-year-old daughter who's about to graduate college this year. Professionally, I have 2 coaching certifications, and I'm certified as a Kilby Inquiry Method Facilitator. And both of these are interrelated in the work that I do. And I'll be sharing more about the Kilby Inquiry Method later in this series. I also have a Master's of Science in Organizational Development, and really for 24 years prior to this work, worked with senior executives, helping them to develop their leadership in the Fortune 1000 and mid-market sectors of business. I have a 35-year meditation practice, and I've taught meditation and mindfulness, and it included also a trip to India where I studied various scriptural texts and traditions. I'm also an ordained minister and a recovering addict. And that last one certainly informs a lot of my work. I know what it is like to be stuck, and I also know what it is like to be freed. And I bring that into my work with my clients. The purpose of this foundation series is to share the foundations of my work, focusing on key insights that support living boundlessly with life and resting in uncertainty. And the series has 5 modules to it. We're going to be focusing on the truth behind the human experience and how we create our reality. We're going to focus on understanding what our true nature truly is. Where is our inherent power? We're going to have an experience of deep restfulness in one of the modules. And I'm going to be introducing the Kilby Inquiry Method in Module 5. And where we're going to start, however, is focusing on what are our longings and frustrations as human beings. What is it that we most desire from life? Now, this list may not be fully complete for you, but I think you're going to resonate with several of these. We desire very strongly to have our needs met as human beings. Clearly, and in multiple areas of our life, it's essential that our needs are met. Number 2, the desire is to experience connection and belonging. It's inherent in being human. The desire to be contributing, giving back, making a difference. The desire to be living abundantly. And last but not least, to be experiencing flow and peace in our lives. When these things are in place, it appears life works better for us. Now, for most human beings, however, and I've had this experience myself, happiness and contentment feel evasive. There are certainly times when we feel happy and content. We've all had those moments of flow. Yet there are other moments that seem to be on the polar opposite of that, where we may feel stuck or even depressed for a period of time. We may face some really challenging times in our life where we feel like we're out of moves. There's nothing we can do that seems to get us unstuck. I certainly understand that one, as I said. And yet most of the time, what our experience tends to be like is that we're moving forward day to day in life, but there's this undercurrent of worry, frustration, fear, and even doubt. And the main causes I have discovered in this oscillation and experience are really twofold. Number one, being disconnected from our own inner resourcefulness. And as we're going to see, this inner resourcefulness is already always there, but it's so simple that we miss it. Number two, we tend to be living from a reactive orientation to life. And we're going to be talking about that as well. How does that happen? And the symptoms that indicate that we're living from an unexamined, unconscious, reactive orientation is we have these strategies that we may be deploying. Again, these may be different, and you may not resonate with all of these, but there's a sense of sometimes trying to control others or situations to get our needs met. Of feeling overwhelmed or frozen by the events that unfold in our lives. And we've certainly had a lot of experience with that one lately, I would imagine. There might be a relentless drive to achieve, yet we're never satisfied with our achievements. There's always the next one. There can be this defensiveness or the need to be right, or the inability to say no and completely become consumed by circumstances and others. Or, on the other hand, there can be an inability to say yes, so we shun opportunities as they arise. There can be a lack of confidence. And finally, feeling dragged around by compulsions. Now, this could be traditional addictions like alcoholism, porn addiction, overeating, drugs, etc. Or it can be the sense of compulsive behaviors that we do that we can't seem to stop. And then on top of that, we're living in this VUCA world. Now we have all of that that's true for us. And some of those last slide you resonated with maybe, and some you didn't at all. And that's fine. But we're also living in the midst of this what's called VUCA world. Rising volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, and that's being thrown on top of everything else. With COVID-19, facing racial injustices finally, seeing a destabilization of outer structures. This can be seen certainly in the political environment, but it also can be seen in what's happening in policing right now and other government institutions that are breaking down. And then there's this question of what's next? What is the new normal? Is there a new normal? What does that look like? So this can tend to create additional, obviously, fear and anxiety in that uncertainty. And the choice is moving forward in confidence or moving forward in doubt and fear. Many times this does not appear as a choice, however. It feels like it's chosen for us. The question is how is that choice being made? Is it really the outer circumstances? Or is there something else we can do? Well, St. Francis of Assisi points us in the right direction. His famous quote, "What you are looking for is where you are looking from." He knew something that we need now. He was pointing to your greatest power, the greatest power you have as a human being, and where you appear to have the greatest control, is the use of your attention. And we are conditioned or reinforced to look outside. We're rarely taught how to look within. And even the people that teach how to look within have confused us. And I want to clear up some of that confusion in my work. So that's the introduction to this series. Next up in Module 2, we're going to examine, well, how does all this interpretation of reality stuff occur? Why is it that I face these tendencies to not have confidence, to feel I'm doing something compulsive, etc.? And what can we do about it? So I'll see you in Module 2. Thanks for joining me again in this series.